how the nuke dukes took over the FBI. So it's going to take a little bit of explanation, but it's going to focus on this Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Now that sounds like a great agency, and in 1998 it was formed. But where it really came from the nuke dukes. The nuke dukes were down in Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge National Laboratories was actually the place where the atomic bomb was developed. And then the follow-on agency was this AFSWP, this weapons project, which moved the nuke dukes from Oak Ridge. We're still doing nuke duke research down there, but we moved the nuke dukes to the Pentagon. Okay. Now, when we formed DTRA, we moved the nuke dukes over to Fort Belvoir. But we're still doing the research down in Oak Ridge. Wouldn't it be great if we had a nuclear scientist, a physicist down there, where we could just move all that research to our research facility in Brookhaven in Long Island, and then we could basically bring in Russian scientists and give each one new arms technology and then take advantage of it with our hedge fund or our investment fund. That's kind of what happened with Bruce Orr bringing the technology, I believe. So if you don't remember Star Wars, this is the nuke dukes really basically experimenting with every possible type of way of stopping the nukes, right? Here's the railgun, here's lasers and mirrors, here's neutral particle beam, here's X-ray laser, here's brilliant pebbles, as I was talking about. So when I was making fun yesterday and talking about Mark Levin saying, it's Star Wars, this is what I was talking about. It was the nuke dukes basically using Reagan to invest in all the different types of anti-nuclear deterrent technology you could have. Here's just one, Project Excalibur, which is at Lawrence Livermore in California. The idea is set off a bomb in the missile and then have it shoot out 1,000 different X-rays in 1,000 different directions to knock out 1,000 different missiles. Well, that didn't work out so well. It got killed, but you could see where if you were just directing the energy in one direction for drilling or one direction for tunneling, how much easier that would be than trying to knock out 1,000 moving parts. In tunneling and mining, it's just one direction, usually, and drilling is the same way. Or you could take a variation and go in 4 different directions, like I mentioned yesterday with Seth Rich. I was sort of kidding that we would go in all directions with Seth Rich. If you don't remember Defense Threat Reduction Agency at Fort Belvoir, this was kind of a funny one I did about 2 months ago about Nathan Edmondson's cartoon. He did a cartoon about the Nuclear Threat Reduction Agency because they are watching nuclear materials going around the world. So one of the things they would have watched is, hey, are we having nuclear materials like depleted uranium coming into South Carolina, like Lindsey Graham said, the senator, to blow up Charleston Harbor, like Lindsey Graham said that was going to happen, right? So we have a thoughtful analyst here, me in this case, going on a YouTube show, explaining that this indeed, the senator is correct. This indeed is a threat, and it would be effectuated by diplomatic containers, by Imran Awan's capability here, and the radiation testing for this ships coming into this port is only done in the port of Qasim. So this analyst is relating this here. This is an ongoing threat here last June 15th. And the analyst over here, the knowledgeable nuclear scientist here, says, well, yeah, he's right. So what's the problem? And then, of course, this analyst says here, well, 20 minutes after that knowledgeable analyst left the show, the news director had people tweet out dirty bomb in Port of Charleston 7,600 times. So this would have gone through DTRA, and unfortunately, some people don't understand the the dynamics here of explaining a situation versus exacerbating a situation. But that's a part of history now, and we'll get to that in time. But I was joking a lot about all these different nuke dukes technology with Star Wars because I basically think they used Reagan to fund all this research, and then they basically sheep-dipped it with these Soviet engineers, bringing them in the 90s to take advantage of it commercially by doing these different NATO general investment funds. If you don't believe the railgun is real, here it is. In Indian Head, John O'Loughlin complains about it. Macduff, it's that close that he can hear it. Again, that's one way of taking a missile out of the sky. So they've commercialized that. Here it is again. Just shooting a projectile. I think it's only about 5 or 6 inches big. This is sized down considerably from the original plan, which was to shoot a watermelon-sized tungsten projectile, right? Here's another one, though. This is solid-state nuclear fusion, right, where you actually have a containment vessel, like I was saying, tokamak. You basically squeeze it like a balloon, this plasma, and then you shoot it out in a direction, again, sort of like the laser, and it bores a hole or drills a hole for you. We don't know where this is in terms of development, but this is yet another technology here of fusion, of solid-state nuclear fusion. I believe this is where Bruce Orr would have worked in the solid-state division of Oak Ridge. And then companies, you can exfiltrate the technology, in this case to Canada, to British Columbia, and call it general fusion. Get people to invest in it. Who knows? Maybe somebody will be gullible enough to invest in that. But you can see where it has the target facility and the containment vessel, and you squeeze the balloon and you fire it, that kind of idea.